Alrighty, now that you got your fiddle stick and a pair of headphones, let's insert tracks and get ready to record. So what you need to do is, in whatever DAW you are, it's the same process. You want to insert 2 mono tracks for you to record guitar. In Cubase here, I have buses already named. Forget about that. You want to create tracks that are connected to whatever your guitar is plugged into. Most of the time, it's probably going to be input number 1. So in my case, analog 1, mono, which it's called DI in Cubase, so it shows up as Cubase. Don't let that confuse you. I'm going to put this as a mono track. I'm going to create 2 of them. I'm going to go add track. So I added 2 tracks here, okay? The reason why I added 2 right away is we're going to have a left guitar and a right guitar. Let's just go ahead and name these right left, right. And after that, we should pan these. So I'm just going to the inspector, all the way 100% left, all the way 100% right. So my tracks are now 100% left, 100% right. The reason we're going to do this is because we are going to insert a group, all right, or a bus, whatever it's called in your DAW. This needs to be a stereo track, and we're going to call this ride guitars. So if you're following with me here, rhythm guitar left, rhythm guitar right, going into the group track. Why are we doing this? Well, because the next step is we need to insert the amp simulator. And we're going to insert the amp simulator on the group track. And in this case, let's go with Omega. That sounds cool for today. All right, go with Omega. Now, the reason why we put this on the group track is because we're going to take advantage of stereo processing, which means we only need the one plugin in our session to record. This will save on CPU, allows us to put our buffer size lower, which I'll talk about later on in the video. Now that the amp simulator is ready to go, we want to set up our input. This is very important. So on the interface, as it turns out, we've all been doing this incorrectly for years and years and years. Our interface should remain at 0. So the input, wherever your guitar is plugged in, that should be turned all the way down. Now, in the plugin, we're going to be adjusting the input parameter here. Now, how do you know how much your input parameter should be? Well, there's this handy little spreadsheet that's come out lately. A guy put this together. He's got a list of the most popular interfaces that people are using right now for home recording and even professionally. Most likely, your interface here will be in the list. If not, you're going to have to go to your manufacturer's website to find out what your maximum input volume is, so that you can then go through the list here and understand which level you should set. So for me, I have an Audient ID44. All plugins from Neural DSP are minus 2.2. So all we have to do is we go back into the DAW here, we go into our input, and we put in minus 2.2. We are now gain stationed to the plugin. We don't have to do anything else. The next thing that we want to do here is we want to make sure our buffer size is reasonable. So buffer size is very simple. It basically determines how much work your audio interface is going to do. So the lower amount of samples, for example, 64 samples, means the less amount of latency. However, this puts a lot more, this makes it more taxing for your CPU to do what it needs to do because there's a lot less CPU power being afforded to you here. So lower number, less latency, but bigger chance that you'll run into artifacts and problems when you're recording. This is entirely CPU and audio interface dependent. I can't recommend which buffer rate you should use. You'll just have to experiment for which one will work with your system. Safe bet, 128 will probably be okay for you. I record at 128 all the time. Works for me, it's fine. Now, the higher number this goes, the more latency you're going to have in your recording process. This means that by the time I hit a power chord here, that's how long it takes to go through my interface, into the DAW, and then for me to hear it. So the higher the number, the longer that loop takes, and the bigger latency you're going to have. So you literally could go ding on the guitar, and you can hear an audible pause between the strings and in your headphones. This is why you want to set your buffer rate as low as you can handle it on your computer without running into artifacts or digital weirdness or dropouts. I would recommend 128 for me, maybe even 256 you could probably get away with, but definitely 512 you're already going to run into issues, but 64 samples probably going to be okay. Now that we got our input level set up, a buffer rate set up, we just want to go ahead and test that we have sound. So the way that we do this is we want to enable our input monitoring. For Cubase, we just hit this little this little speaker icon here, and I will hit a power chord, and there we go. And it's always a good idea to do a little test record to make sure that your system is set up and that there's not going to be any problems when you go to record. So just go ahead and hit record enable and then record and see what happens. See if everything's working well and smooth. It also can give you a chance to look at your waveform to make doubly sure that you're not clipping. Now, if you have set everything up correctly on your interface, it's at 0 level, you've done the input level correctly based on the spreadsheet, but your situation still looks something like this, unfortunately, that means your audio interface is really not up to snuff. You're going to need to look at a DI box. Not in the scope of this video, but if that's the case, just leave a comment and I'll help you out, okay? But thankfully, we're all good to go here. We have really clean preamps with this Audient. Our waveform looks absolutely fantastic, super clean. So we are essentially ready to record. Before you do that, however, you do want to make sure that you're in tune. Now, Neural DSP has a tuner here. I would sincerely recommend either you get the GBTST tune, which I actually don't have installed, or you can actually get Lock-On from Submission Audio. Links to all this down below in the description. This is a fantastic tuner. It gets the job done. And basically, this is a very important part of recording guitar. You want to make sure you're in tune all the time. So you just play the tuning song. So I'm going to go ahead and tune, but I'm going to cut ahead from this because this is really boring to watch. All right, let's go ahead and record something. And I'm actually going to choose one of my presets here. This is one of my presets, Old School Death Metal Volume 1. You can actually buy at my website, Chernobyl Audio. It's just sounds pretty damn cool, and we're going to use it here. I think it'll be awesome. Go ahead and have a listen. All right, that's pretty sick. So yeah, like I said, Old School Death Metal Volume 1, it's on ChernobylAudio.com. Go grab those presets. They're pretty fun to record with. Let's just go ahead and record. The drums I'm using are Hertz drums. These are just with some grooves that are from Hertz drums itself. Hertz drums, my opinion, is the best drum library on the market right now. I haven't used anything else in like a year and a half. Really love these drums. So what do you want to do? Record enable, okay? And record. Make sure you have your metronome. I definitely would not require, but it would be a good idea to record with a metronome. Let's just let's record this little riff that I have. All right, so when you have the first take recorded, you don't need to like do this and then come down. Just drag this down. There you go. Now the take is down there. You're going to record again anyway, so let's just go ahead and double this up. I would recommend to actually mute this track so that you'll just pay attention to the drums when you're playing the riff again. After that, you want to do the next thing. Very important. You want to listen back, see what it sounds like. If you can't hear what's going on, turn the guitars down. Okay, so the purposes of this video was just to show you how easy, quick, and simple it is to record your guitars at home with amp simulators. It's literally as simple as that. Before I let you go though, let me give you some advice. Use a good tuner and tune often, generally between every couple of takes. If you're doing solos or lead work, tune between every single take. Record with drums like I've done here. Do not record just to a metronome. It's not going to line up with the drums when you put them in. You're going to have two separate pieces of audio that didn't play off of each other. I'm playing guitars here to these drums, and whether I like it or not, I am vibing with the drums and I am connecting with them. So my performance is different. So when all possible, definitely record with drums. Next, don't record into a full session. As you see here, I have no plugins in here that I don't need. I have a tuner, I have the amp sim, and I have Restream, and then obviously I have the drums. That's it. That's all you need to record with. You don't need a full session with vocals, bass, and the master chain and all these things. You'll just create problems for yourself. Record with a simple, bare bones session, and your recording process will be that much easier. Make sure you actually pick the guitar like you're mad at it. If you look at my transients here, you can see how defined they are. Everything is perfectly defined, even these little alternate picking bits here. This is what you're looking for. You want transients for every single pick stroke. Okay, this is how you know that you have a good, solid, clean DI, and you're going to have note clarity once you run it through distortion. And finally, and most importantly, recording music is not a urethra breaking contest, okay? Get it done how you can get it done. I have nerve damage in my left hand. I record riff by riff all the time. It doesn't bother me. It sounds the same when it is recorded piece by piece as if I were to play it in one solid go. The main thing is do not copy paste your tracks. Record every single riff, even if that riff repeats multiple times. Do what you can, record it how you can, and do the best that you can. Don't make this any more complicated than it needs to be, guys. Honestly, 2 tracks, left, right, group track, stereo, with the amp simulator on it, stereo track. I'm just using one of my presets to sound cool when I'm recording. You can do whatever you want, okay? The main thing is have fun and record some damn music, would ya? So get out of here. Go record music. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll help you out. Have fun.